Well, thanks a lot for staying with us here on Sunrise Live on E on this Tuesday morning. Now, South Africa is a country that promotes entrepreneurship and innovation as it promotes capital formation, creates large-scale employment opportunities, and also leads to increase in gross domestic products as well as the improvement of the general standard of living. Now, because of this, the youth is encouraged to be more innovative and come up with business ideas. In the process, some of opportunities actually steal the unprotected ideas as well as innovations. How to stop this from happening? What must you do to protect your idea? While joining us this morning to educate you on intellectual property is a trademark practitioner from Smith & Van Wyk, that is Salome Roux. Now, of course, we invite you to home as always to be part of our conversation this morning. Give us a call 011 447 1742 or 2570. However, you are also free to join us on our Facebook and Twitter pages for more information on the actual conversation we're having this morning. But Salome, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, it's a very interesting conversation to have, especially when it comes to intellectual property. We know that intellectual property and the importance of protecting your idea really came gushing through the spotlight, especially when it came to the Please Call Me case with Vodacom. Now, are we aware as a society, even as entrepreneurs, just how important it is to protect your intellectual property?
I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially young and upcoming, startup businesses, are not as aware as they should be about taking proactive measures to protect their intellectual property, and they're also not aware of the options available for them.
Let's speak about some of those options, because many people hear intellectual property, they're thinking, oh my gosh, number one, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't have money. Because there's an assumption that protecting or patenting your idea actually costs a lot. So how then do we start protecting this idea of ours?
Well, first of all, just to give you a bit of an overview, intellectual property is a collective term. So I like to compare it to the term clothing. So you get clothing, you don't get something that specifically is clothing, but you get different types of clothing. So you get a shirt and you get a pair of pants. So the same way, you get different types of intellectual property. So what you have to do is you have to assess your business and see what type of intellectual property you have. You might have a trademark, you might have a patent, you might have a design, you might have
stop
copyright.
there. Let's break it down. We might have a trademark. What do we mean by that?
Okay, well, every business has a name.
Okay.
So not every business has a patent, but every business has a name, and that is your trademark. Okay. So you might even have other trademarks like a slogan or a logo, or even a funny picture, or some people have a jingle that is a trademark.
So is it advisable to actually protect that property, even though, let's say, 1,000 names? You know, when you do the Google search of a name, and 1,000 names come up with the same company. So is it wise to actually protect that name?
Yes, it's very important to protect your trademark, because the big thing with a trademark is that if you don't register your trademark, then you don't have any rights until your trademark has become almost famous. So for young entrepreneurs, it's very important to firstly make sure that the name that you want to use is a name that you're allowed to use, that there isn't someone else using it for the same type of business that you have. So that would be the first step, is to make sure that your trademark is available for you to use and then for you to register.
Well, we're going to go into the cost implications, but let's move on to the next one, patenting.
Patenting, what you can patent is an idea. So that's the only way that you can legally protect an idea and get a monopoly on it. You cannot patent a business idea, for example.
You cannot patent a business idea. What do you mean?
The Patents Act specifically excludes business methods. That's not something that you can register as a patent.
So in other words, if I've got a cleaning service, I can't patent the fact that I've got a cleaning service?
Yes, you can't patent the idea of a cleaning service. So that is something that you have to be aware of. But if you have an innovation or an invention, we call it an invention, that is new and inventive, then you can register a patent for it. But it must be completely new. That means that it mustn't exist anywhere in the whole world.
But then how do you check that it doesn't exist anywhere in the whole world if I'm in South Africa? How am I going to verify that?
It is difficult, and I guess there's no way to know what there is not out there. But you can, Google is your big friend there. Alternatively, you can contact a patent attorney, and they can do a search for you, just to check if there's something out there, because they have ways of checking.
Okay, so you've spoken about the patents and the trademarks. So let's talk about actually being able to protect the idea. Some are saying that actually if I send an email to myself about the idea that I have, that stems as proof that I actually have an idea written down and therefore nobody can copy that. Is that true?
No, unfortunately that's not true.
Okay, so what must we do? How do we protect it? Because I see many companies with the PowerPoint presentation, and you know at the bottom there of the PowerPoint presentation they've got copyright by Faith. Is that protected?
Well, copyright does not protect the idea itself.
Okay.
So copyright protects types of artistic work or creative works actually. So it will protect your PowerPoint presentation itself, the way, the wording.
The PowerPoint and the wording of it.
Yes,
it doesn't protect the contents.
No, it doesn't protect the idea behind the PowerPoint presentation. So if someone uses your idea without copying your PowerPoint presentation, then there won't be anything you can do to stop them.
And then what about if you post the idea to yourself? It doesn't also protect it?
No, it does not.
So then what protects the idea? Because I hear that you say PowerPoint, it doesn't protect your idea. How do I make sure that someone does not copy that I've got a please call me or I've invented a cell phone?
The best way to do that is with a contract, a confidentiality agreement.
Is that the non-disclosure agreement?
Yes, a non-disclosure and confidentiality
How does
agreement.
that one work?
Well, you will have an agreement with the person that you are giving your idea to, and that agreement will basically say that they undertake not to use that information that you're giving to them without your consent, and they will also not disclose it to anyone else.
Cost implications, because many people are thinking, shucks, I don't even have money to start patenting. I've been hearing that patenting cost about thousands of rands. Is that true?
But a patent doesn't cost that much. If you take what you would be losing if you don't have that idea monopolized, then it's actually not that much.
Well, then what's the most cost-effective way of being able to patent the idea or even protect your idea?
What I would suggest is if you have an idea and you want to make sure that you protect it and you want to know if you can patent it, the best would be to go and speak to a patent attorney. Most patent attorneys in South Africa are willing to do a first consultation free of charge.
So first consultation free of charge?
Most patent attorneys do that, and then they will tell you whether it's worthwhile to patent your idea and if it is actually patentable.
Okay, so then when it comes, again, rands and cents, come on, tell me exactly how much am I looking at to budget?
For a patent, the first step is to file a provisional patent, and the cost of that is in the region of 15 to 20,000 rand.
15 to 20,000 rand,
yes,
just to patent the idea.
Yes, so it must make business sense for you to patent your idea. So if you believe you're going to make more than 15,000 rand, then it's definitely worth it to do it, because then you have the monopoly on that idea. Then there are further costs after that, which you will have to spend in about a year's time after you filed your provisional patent. That's more or less the same cost that you'll have to incur again after about a year.
But basically the best bet for anybody is signing that non-disclosure agreement, and that's the most cost-effective way of doing so.
Even if you are considering patenting your idea, it's best to sign a non-disclosure agreement with anyone that you are going to disclose.
And I can get a non-disclosure agreement from a lawyer?
Yes, you can.
Okay, and then in the rural areas, for people that don't necessarily have access to a patenting lawyer or a lawyer, how do I get information?
That would be a bit tricky, but if they have access to the internet or to a cell phone, then especially the internet and emails, then you can contact a lawyer by just giving them a call, and they can send you an email or a fax, or if you have something access to that kind of facility, you don't necessarily need to go to someone and speak to them. You can deal with them on the phone or by email. That would be the easiest. Well,
thank you so much for joining us this morning, really shedding some light in terms of exactly how important it is to protect your intellectual property there. So very interesting conversations indeed, and I think if you do not know, now you know. Trademark practitioner joining us this morning. She's from Smith & Van Wyk, Salome Roux, telling us about the importance of protecting your intellectual property. Now, for more information on that, you can see on the bottom of your screen, you've got some more information on how is it that you can get a hold of Salome there for patenting your idea.